Hello there, and welcome to Love and Wargames, a channel dedicated to spreading the love of wargames. We are here today to talk about Dystopian Wars, a naval war game focused on steampunk battles in the 19th century. We were lucky enough, and thanks War Cradle Studio for this, to receive early 3 boxes that are now in pre-order for September 2022. We will see in this video what is inside, what is contained within the box, and how you can build them, which options you have. We'll see that in a second. I've played the game quite a bit in its 3rd edition. We do twice a month games here in Paris. You might recognize the French accent somewhere. And for these videos, I invited my wife, Valeria.
Hi, everyone.
Which will be the neutral eye, because she does not play wargame, but she's interested in all these miniatures visually, and she will try to see what she sees in the miniatures, because the art direction, especially in Dystopian Wars, is very interesting because it takes a bit of the real world, it twists it a bit with some steampunk flavor, and it's quite interesting. We'll see what she has to say about it, and I will talk more about the rules. And we have a cat that you might have already heard right now that is a special guest here.
And very excited to participate in those videos.
Yeah,
as well.
she really wants. She is a real star here. So we will start right now with the very first box that is available for pre-order in this month of September. So we'll start with the first box. And again, this is just gonna be us discovering the box. We will make another video once it is painted, but it is in this video that we'll explain the different options that you have. Again, I want to insist that this is the first video that we are making for YouTube. So if you have any feedback on how we can improve, let us know and we will apply it with pleasure. So the first box we're gonna discover, it's the smallest one for now. It's this one. I will not read the name, even though you can see it. So she will not know exactly what it is, but can she guess just from the appearance of these miniatures? Those, as you can see, are quite, well, I will start to, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start to open it, so while she thinks, you can actually visually discover what is inside the box. So I'm opening the sprues, and high quality as always from War Cradle. You get 2 sprues, one of them for the cruisers, one of them for the support. Well, actually they're mixed. Here are the sprues, and in the meantime you can have a look, trying to think what you see. Yeah, the names. I will just show you the names. Yeah, it gives a big hint. So we can see that here we get 2 times the same sprues, which will allow us to build, both the support options, which are the Hoth heavy corvettes, and 2 frontline cruisers. Let's say which faction, which nation, but we can see that it's quite angular, quite pointy, and yeah, most ships in the game are like this. We get a whole spread of generators. The one you really want, the one you would really want is the Fury generator, but as we will see, it's already incorporated inside the ships. And does it remind you of any nation right now?
Would you care to show the picture?
Yeah, I am going to.
I'm still closing my eyes.
Still closing your eyes. Any general region in the world?
Basically, you can put it down.
Yeah.
Basically on.
Well, so they can still see.
Basically on what I see as as design. It's not very full of details.
Yeah, quite raw, quite utilitarian.
Yes, and unfortunately, I indeed don't know factions.
Okay.
And I cannot imagine what exactly faction I'm thinking about. But I'm thinking about the north. And
Northern,
either Germany, either Norway.
It's actually quite good, quite good. It is actually part, okay, she really doesn't know the nations. There is a faction called the Imperium, which is focused around mostly Germany, like Prussian Empire, Bavarians, and here are the Scandinavians, so northern factions. It does look a little bit like, for me, it does remind me a little bit like a Drakkar in this pointy way. It's like a modern Drakkar, and
I would say it's more like the ice crackers.
It is actually.
In the pointy noses that they have.
Actually is. Well done in Warcradle Studio for this. So what you do get, now that we know that they're Scandinavian from this Scandinavian sub-faction for the Imperium, you do get 2 cruisers and 4 corvettes. The corvettes are very good for supporting. You can attach them to one of your flagship, and they are good for boosting your defense, boosting your offense at close range, and mostly to make sure that whenever you want to do boarding, it goes very good. The Scandinavians are extremely good for boarding actions. So the Hoth, you have only one way to build them. These 2 cruisers, you will want to use them as a support for the main Scandinavian ship, which is the Ragnarok Battlefleet. And you will have a Ragnarok ship, obviously, and 2 other cruisers and 4 other Hoth. What you will want to do, it's to build at least one of those cruisers as a Gungnir, which is the smallest of all the cruisers. It's absolutely mandatory in order to have a legal battle fleet right now. So you will want at least one of them, Micah approves. The other ones, you can build them as either Odin, which is the middle size, or a Jotun. Of course, if you are a bit greedy, you will want the Jotun, which is everything that you will ever want from a cruiser. It's fast, it has good short-range attack, like electrical attack that bypass generators, and you can customize the main cannons. And this very good-looking Prussian main cannon. We can actually see, I'm not sure, I hope, this is the first video again, I hope you can see the details, but the details are even better from the Prussian warships that we've had about a year now. So it's really high quality. You might want at least one Jotun because it's a very nice threat that your enemy will have to deal, and it's not that easy to deal with. And the rest, if you have a Ragnarok and a support squadron, frontline squadron, you will have 2 other ships that you can do however you want. It's never a bad idea to have 3 Gungnir's in one squadron because it's very fast. It can move very quickly to the enemy, and as all the Scandinavians, they want to board very fast the enemy. So again, this is a support squadron, like frontline squadron, but you need first to buy the Ragnarok. Then you buy this, then you have a very powerful Scandinavian fleet that you can play as is at 1,000-point games without a problem. Very fun fleet, very much like as you would imagine Vikings to be, focus on the boarding, closing fast the gap, and very fun to play actually, quite easy, very good for beginners. Okay, do we go for the next fleet? Next battle fleet. This one might be a little bit more obvious. You can see the name, like actually here. The faction is written for the frontline and support squadrons. Here it's just called the Marena Battlefleet set. It's something I am very excited because it's one of the first fleet I've started to play, and we saw it in concept art a while ago. Now we finally have it. It's for the Commonwealth. I can say which faction it is. She doesn't know which one yet. And she sees the miniatures, like here you see the concept art. It's very cool doing things. But when I show what the miniatures actually are, you get 3 of these Vitruvian Colossus. We've already seen these giant robots for the Imperium already, for the Prussians. And now it's for another nation. And you also have these very cool 6 heavy frigates. I will tell the names later, but because it gives away the nation otherwise. And they are very useful as a little frigate. They're very aggressively costed. For what they do, they're really good. Now, do you want to guess which nation they are?
I can't directly say.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to say, and I love you because this is Love and Wargames. My husband, though, is extremely naive, and I must admit that this little symbol gives it
away. Okay.
right
Yeah.
now. And
yeah, I didn't. See, yeah, there is a Commonwealth symbol, which is literally a star.
It's not only the star.
It's
the problem is not the star. The problem is the actually three
little
dome cathedral, which is literally the sign of Orthodox Church, which is basically Russian Empire symbol.
Yeah.
So I say it's Russian Empire.
Yeah, it's alternate universe, so it's nice democratic Russian empire, not empire. It's a democracy, but there is a Tsar somehow. It works. It works.
Like UK now.
Yeah,
it is democracy, but
kinda. It also includes Poland, Lithuania, for which there is no faction. It also includes Ukraine, which is independent sub-faction of the Commonwealth. Even though Russia is still the main faction, there is also Ukraine independently. And there is Mongolia, that the first unit for Mongolia has been announced. So it's like this huge Eurasian empire that goes all the way from China until the border of Germany. So we have these Marena. I'm very excited to have them. So these heavy frigates are called the Boyars, which gives it away. Like, of course, my wife is from Russia, so if I say Boyar, I know what it means. I know she would guess. Marina, does it mean something in Russian? Marina?
Marina means, yeah, from the sea, like it's sea something.
Makes sense for a naval game. And these Marina, you can build them as a Kostroma. Mm-hmm. Does it mean something, Kostroma?
Kostroma, it's the name of the city.
Okay.
One of the most ancient cities in Russia.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Very interesting. You get 3 little bays to put your giant robots on. You get quite a few sprues. High quality as always. We will not show you, like, if you want the instructions, like the paper, it is available for free online. You can get those, but as we can see, there is a lot of sprues, a lot of things to build. If you like to convert your ships, you definitely can. I might indeed make some conversion. I hope we can see them good, but there is this very cool railgun axe, which is just keep doing what you do, War Cradle. This is really cool. And we can also see this very powerful cryo generator, which all of the robots will have. Now we need to say about the Kostroma and the Marina, how you can build them, how you want to build them. And that's actually a really good question. There is no specific battle fleet, unlike for the Imperium, which is a bit disappointing, but you can still play them easily just without bonuses. If you build them as Marina, they are this version. Let's show them physically. Yeah, like this version with the little drill. And this version is very good. Like, you just pop up of the ocean, you make your ramming action with this drill, you just obliterate something with a Valor action, and you go back under the sea. That's very cool, but that's basically the only thing you can do. Or you can build them as a Kostroma, which is this version in small here. And if you build them like this, and I think that's how I will do, you have more flexibility. You can still do exactly what we said about the Marina. Pop out of the ocean, kill something with your giant axe, which is just cool, just purely cool. And then you can stay where you are and use your axe that is also a giant railgun and start shooting things around. Or you can deploy in your deployment zone without any jumping out of the ocean and just use them as giant snipers, because it's a railgun, it's extreme range. Very cool, very useful. If you take the Kostroma, you also get to use this weapon, a cryo generator, from the first turn, because when you pop out of the water, you cannot use these weapons that don't have a crippled profile first. So you will need to wait. The cool thing about it is that no matter how you play them, they will be very difficult to remove, very impressive on the table, and I cannot wait to see them painted. Also, you have in this box, as we said, 6 Boyars, which are like Ruriks, but better. They are very efficient. You cannot use them to attach them to a flagship in order to escort it, so you need to use them more like skirmishers, like go on the flank and attack from there. As we remember from the Ruriks, they are very efficient. Those are just better armed. They are just as fragile, but if you use them just like this on the flanks, they will really do the job well. So you can use this as both hammer and anvil while you have little skirmishers. This is for the Commonwealth release. Very excited about it. And now we will go for the biggest release of this month. And now for the last box of these September pre-orders, we have, I can say the name, the Archimedes Battlefleet. So we have this, first show to you. This is the Archimedes Battlefleet, and it's a huge box. It's like one of the huge Battlefleet set that we've had, like for example for the Victory, for the Enterprise, the Suleiman, all these huge Battlefleets. And now it's finally the time of the Enlightened. I let Valeria have a look in the meantime at the miniatures. It's very cool for the Enlightened players to finally have something, because they had basically the ships of the starter sets, the Hypatia and the Descartes, and then they didn't have much, like basically nothing. And now like their patience is finally rewarded. They have these absolutely gorgeous miniatures. We'll talk a little bit more about how you can build it, but we have the Archimedes ship that can be built either as a Schneider, which is a named ship, you can have only one, or as the absolutely amazing Nansen Explorer. Like, I love the model. Like, solely from this, I wanted to start Enlightened Fleet. And they have also these very cool, that you can see here on the picture, these kind of like giant, how we call it in English? Hydra. It is a Hydra. I was thinking of this little insect with a lot of legs, but it does look like a Hydra as well. They have all these kind of very cool monstrosities, like they had in the previous editions. It's going to be harder to understand where they come from, because they don't come from a nation, from a specific area. Does it remind you of anything, like visually? Because it's not a nation. You can say like it's French or it's Chinese or whichever. What do you think when you see these models?
Well, first of all, I do think about the first animals that appear, like animal-looking ships, I guess.
Yeah.
I do see the paint on the main box, which makes me think that it's like war-oriented fleet.
Yeah.
Like it's already like, it's not something peaceful. It's already kind of trying, like it does not.
It looks angry, and
it doesn't mimic with the sea because it's kind of green, but it is still the colors of camouflage. And
it is actually. They try to say like, yeah, we're exploring scientific fleet. No, it's not. Why would you paint yourself like this?
Honestly, with the first, so it does make me think about the 19th century nation that was oriented towards some wars. Though it might be a mistake, because we already talked about a faction that kind of was contained this nation already. So I'm thinking about Germans first of all.
It does look very like Porsche or Mercedes or this kind
maybe after all, need to understand that Austria as well comes to the like Germans in the 19th century. But then there is like little detail that gives the idea, and it is enlightened.
The name, it's written Enlightened.
Yes, and I'm thinking these are Great Britain.
From Enlightened.
Yeah.
Damn, you're right. Well, the very cool part, okay, so like we said, it's not a nation. It's actually a circle of fancy scientists from mostly Europe. So some Germans, some French, some British, that went to Antarctica, basically found sci-fi tech and said like, we'll be good with this. And they started to say like, yeah, we're scientists, and then they paint their ships in camouflage and start to make these giant war machines that are automatas. Yeah, not very scientific, guys. Not nice, not very friendly. But they are mostly Europeans, and it's quite cool that you can see some German and British and all these influences, because even if they say like, yeah, we're from all over the world, their ships are named after mostly European scientists and philosophers.
You must admit that the idea really much resemble on the idea that was already in the TV series, actually,
Yeah.
Shield. Look at the, it looks like those are actually the ships that could Hydra have. And it is scientific, but it is bad, and it really reminds me of like Nazi Germany, but in like specifically Marvel universe.
You're weirdly right. Let us know in the comments what you think. I would agree that they really do look like crazy Nazi Germany machines, like especially these giant insect things and all of it really sounds like crazy European scientists. So now that we've seen how it looks and the general feel of the fleet, let's have a look what you have inside the box and how you can build it. So let's open the box. As we can see, it's a really like high quality box from War Cradle Studio, as always. It really feels like the starter set all over again. And let's try to open it. And wow, there are a lot of things. You can smell the brand new plastic and resin. It smells like untapped potential. And what do we have here? We have a lot of sprues. We will not have a look at all of them. We still have like a lot of different turrets. The SRS token 3.03 now, so you really want as much SRS token as you can get. First to attack the enemy, and with those especially like to defend yourself of the enemy SRS. You can see there is still this very high quality plastic from War Cradle Studio. It works really, really well. When you have a look at these new, I think those are advanced squadrons. Those are really good. Like, wow, which quality. We have these whales token now that you might miss. You have like not real plastic ones. If you have the starter sets, you will be very happy to have those. They are very strong now. And second one, because you have two of each. A lot of these little black tokens to count your SRS, to say how many you have exactly. Wow, still more things. You do get a lot of escorts and tokens. We will see a little bit later everything that you can get. You do get little bases. I suppose this is for the giant machines. Yeah, must be for this giant insectoid machine. And of course, in all of these big boxes, you do get resin. And this is going to be your main ship, the Archimedes or the Nansen. And let's have a look on it. Oh, it's a big chunky piece of resin. Very, very high details. Like, you can see that it's really improved the quality. I'm asking my wife if it's good focused on the Archimedes slash Nansen slash the best flagship of the game. Okay, I'm partial, but really like, it just looks so cool. Especially when you will start to add all the different things you have. You can, we're just trying to show you the quality of the resin, because really like, I've been buying resin from other very famous resin producer that starts with a F and ends with world, and damn, isn't this beautiful. And you can build your little ship very modularly. Apparently you can put some ships, SRS here, some aircrafts. You can put whichever orb you want, and it's really going to be easy if you want to magnetize to do it. Now that we know that it's very easy to magnetize and build it how you want it to be, let's have a look more in details about, oh, you even have, okay, before we go in details about the rules, you do have all the rules up to date. I know that some people in my gaming circle say like, yeah, we don't have the orbats, the order of battles up to date, we don't have the instructions how to build. Well, you do have it here. Okay, it's quite nice that they give it with the large boxes. It's good quality and it's very useful. You don't have to print it yourself. Should have printed it. So now let's have a look at what you can build exactly. This is all the ships that you have, and you have a lot of options. And when you are a new player, it can be a little bit daunting to know what to build. and you have a lot of options. None of them are bad. You will never end up with a fleet that you feel, okay, I have no chance against my enemies. But there are some things to know, and we will recommend two different things, depending if you have a starter set or not. The starter set that was the hunt for the Prometheus, Commonwealth against Enlightened. If you do have it, then it means you're veteran player. You don't need as many support ships. You have a lot of frigates and cruisers, and already you have a good front line, and you will be able to build a little bit more of support cruisers. If you are a very new player, or if it's the first Enlightened fleet that you get, you will want to build it differently. First, let's start with the big ship, the Archimedes. There is three ways to build it, either as the Archimedes, as the Schneider, or as the Nansen. If you build it as the Archimedes or the Schneider, it will play relatively similarly. You will have this giant orb in the middle that gives you bonuses. I will not go too much in the details, but you can do some funky things, bring ships from reserve, teleport them, repair stuff. It's quite cool, it's very useful, and it's more as a ship that you want in the middle of your fleet. Like you're gonna play it as you would Borodino or Elector or something like that. It will go in the front line, it will fight, do cool Enlightened stuff, and it's resilient. Or you can build it as a Nansen. I'm a bit partial. It's very cool miniature. Cannot wait to see it painted, really. And it's good for two things. First, it's gonna be more in the back of your line. You're gonna see it longer on the table. And second, it does give you SRS token, which we cannot insist how much important it is to have some SRS token in this edition of the game. Whichever way you do, it's quite a good ship. You will use it as a center of your Enlightened fleet. Then you have two frontline cruisers, two support cruisers, and two advanced cruisers. Frontline cruisers, it's the bread and butter, meat and potatoes of your fleets. You already have three of those if you have the starter pack, and you will need at least one of the basic variant, the Lovelace, because that's the necessity to start a battle fleet. You need it. Legally to build your fleet. Have at least one Lovelace. This is especially if you're a new player and this is your first Enlightened fleet. Then you can get something else, an Antarctica, for example. So you can have the named variant, the Belgica. Or you can have the Châtelet cruiser, which gives you one SRS token, very good for combos that we'll not see in this video. Maybe I will make an Enlightened deep dive. All the options are good. Do at least one Lovelace, and I recommend an Antarctica. Then you have support squadrons. You can have, for example, the Plinius, which is your cruiser that is actually an aircraft carrier, but in a very cooler manner. We don't see it so good. I will not try to show it on the camera. We will see it painted. I will make at least one. And it gives you the always important SRS token, plus it looks really cool. You also have the very good Quintillion bombardment cruiser, which is, it goes very well with the advanced cruiser that we'll see, because it used to have limited munitions. Now you have ways with this advanced cruisers to bypass this. And you have also two advanced cruisers. You can have the Newton Void Engine, which gives you some little combo tricks when you're a veteran player. Or you can have the Zumina, which allows you to overcharge and combos very well with the Quintillion, because it will prevent you from running out of missiles. And of course, you have this very cool, I forgot the name, it's the Vesalius. The Vesalius allows you to throw these killer whales and just giant whales as well that are made cybernetic with weapons and stuff. And I realize more and more that they are bad guys in Enlightened. Come on, don't try to pretend you're not. So yeah, you can send giant cyber zombie whales at your enemies, which is evil but very efficient. And if you do this, you can do it either from the Descartes, which is this ship that you have from the starter set, and my cat approves of evil, crazy scientists. Let me introduce you to Padme. And if you want, you can, with these Vesalius, send killer whales from a cruiser, so you don't have to bring a Descartes, which is an expensive investment. You also have not one, not two, but 12 frigates, these little things, very cool little ship. 6 of them you can build as a basic, like Miriam or Germain. Whichever versions, they are quite good. Miriam, you want them in the close combat, so flankers. German, you want them a little bit more in the back. And then you can have 6 more that you can build either as Diogenes, not sure how to pronounce it in English, which are very good torpedo launchers, or as, I really forget the names, Praxilla, which are those with the drills. Very hard to play. If you're a new player, don't build them like this. They are very fragile, devastating but fragile. Better to put Diogenes in the back to throw torpedoes. Tips if you're a new player. You have some tokens, giant whales, squadron of killer whales, and some aircrafts. Lots of them, very cool. And the real spicy stuff, except the Nansen, is these 2, how we call it, insectoid ships that look very hostile. Let's make sure it focuses. It's either the Ketos, either the Lenin. I'm not sure of the name anymore, we will see. You have 2 versions of these insectoid ships. One of them, the Ketos, is made more for really like close combat. And I will just check that it's, no, it will not say the name. One of them has little claws in the front. You use it almost exclusively for close combat. And it's very efficient what you do, at what it does. You play it a little bit like a Hausmeister or like a Marena from the Russians that we've seen before. You pop out of the water, you kill something with ramming action, and you go back underwater. Or you can build it as a, not the Ketros, the Lotan, as a Lotan. And this, you don't use it as a Kostroma that we've seen before, because you don't use it as a sniper. You pop behind the enemy and you stay there, and from there you can use short range, very devastating weapons from the back of the enemy, and you're quite mobile once you are behind the enemy lines, and the enemy will really have trouble to deal with you. This is how I would recommend to build this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get all these beautiful miniatures painted, and we will not make a tutorial on how to build later because I will already have made most of the choices, and we will, next time we will see them all painted and then for a battle report. So we hope you liked the video. If you did, please let us have a little like button. It really helps to get started. Leave us a comment as well. And if you would be so kind as to subscribe, it really helps us to get started. And if you're the best person ever, you will share this with your friends. Let them know that there is a new Dystopian Wars channel, and it will really mean a lot to us. In the meantime, please do spread the love around you, and we'll see you in the next video.
Spread the love. See you.